welcome to Inside South Asia with me, Bhairavi Singh. It's Eid Mubarak to all our viewers as prayers, greetings and feasts mark the Eid congregations across South Asia and the rest of the world, of course. We show you the glimpses tonight. And well, as always, we have a packed show tonight. We profile Rahul Gandhi's switch from Amethi to Wayanad. Half the Gandhis lost all hope in the Hindi heartland. Also on the show, China blocks the Dalai Lama's visit to Lanka and find out more about India's very own indigenous GPS system, NavIC. Here are the highlights. Well, first up on the show, we ask, is a safe bet always the safest choice in politics? Has Rahul Gandhi announced defeat by not fighting against Smriti Irani in Amethi, a long-held Congress bastion in the Hindi heartland? And is Wayanad the easy way out? The choice of Wayanad as the constituency for the Gandhi sign has certainly not gone down well with the Congress's left allies, who ask, why not fight against the BJP? Why us?
This election is a fight for democracy and for the Constitution of India.
Rahul Gandhi hoping for a successful rerun from the constituency in Wayanad, which elected him in 2019, when his family's own traditional bastion Amethi refused to send him back to Parliament. Flanked by sister Priyanka, Rahul Gandhi carried out a roadshow in Wayanad in front of a massive crowd. But will Wayanad vote for Rahul Gandhi again? Well, he's pitted against the BJP state chief K. Sundaran and the Communist Party of India General Secretary D. Raja's wife Annie Raja, who is also the president of the National Federation of Indian Women. Poll pundits believe his main rival is Raja. Kerala is a left stronghold, even though the Congress has held the constituency since 2009. A disappointed Annie Raja herself questioned the rationale of the Gandhi sign, fighting against the left instead of choosing to contest a seat where the BJP would be the main challenger. Despite Rahul Gandhi's left-leaning policies and his friends in the CPIM, Kerala Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan also recently reflected on the fissures within the friendship. He called Gandhi's candidature from Wayanad inappropriate. In 2014, the BJP polled less than 1 lakh votes here. In 2019, it stayed away from the contest. For the Congress, it is a prestige battle and a safe seat for Rahul to contest. But for the CPIM, it defies logic to go after a left candidate when the BJP is a debutant in the state. They question why Rahul did not choose to have a direct contest with the BJP, or better still, why he did not choose a state like Karnataka or Telangana, or a Hindi heartland state. The BJP meanwhile took pot shots at Rahul Gandhi too for abandoning Amethi for Wayanad.
Yesterday, a Congress leader announced in Wayanad that Rahul Gandhi chose Wayanad constituency because people there are more loyal. So what about Amethi loyalty, who gave 15 years to a minister who did nothing for Amethi?
Union Minister and Amethi MP Smriti Irani also alleged that the Congress leader took the support of the banned Popular Front of India to contest the Lok Sabha elections from Kerala's Wayanad seat.
We have received information that Rahul Gandhi took the support of the terrorist organization PFI to contest the elections in Wayanad.
Rahul Gandhi won the Wayanad seat by a record margin of over 4,30,000 votes in the 2019 Lok Sabha polls, after losing Amethi to BJP's Smriti Irani. He has chosen not to repeat his poll debacle from the erstwhile Congress stronghold. But optics matter in politics, and many believe Gandhi's win from Wayanad adds nothing to his political career. Instead, the Gandhi scion must win a seat from the Hindi heartland to prove the Congress still has an imprint in its traditional strongholds. Rahul Gandhi not fighting from Amethi also means the party has no courage to take on the BJP's might.
And while a recent invitation to the Dalai Lama from a group of Sri Lankan Buddhist monks set alarm bells ringing in Beijing, the rather excessive response from China underscores its deep insecurities vis-a-vis the Tibetan leader and also exposes China's arm-twisting tactics against smaller countries in order to force them to toe the line.
An icon of Buddhism, a messiah of world peace, but for China, a separatist Tibetan political leader in exile fomenting trouble in India and the neighborhood. So when a group of Sri Lankan Buddhist monks invite him to visit, Beijing is worried. In January this year, charge d'affaires of the Chinese embassy in Colombo, Hawaii, met the Mahanaike Thero of the Malwatu chapter of the Siam Nikaya, a Buddhist monastic order, and warned him of the 14th Dalai Lama being a political exile disguised as a religious figure who's long been engaging in anti-China separatist activities. Sri Lanka's Buddhist monks, who see the Dalai Lama as a living bodhisattva, raise objections to China's bloc strategy. WION spoke exclusively to one of them.
Last time from Sri Lanka, monks, three Nikaya, Amarapura, Ramanya, Siam. We invite to the Dalai Lama to visit Sri Lanka. Sri Lankans would like, but problem from China. Why, I don't know. I don't know. So, we respect to him and we invite to Sri Lanka, but China don't like to that. China pressed for our government also. Okay. We are not like that. He's the Buddhist leader. He had a freedom. We want also freedom for invite to him.
It's not the first time China has blocked the Dalai Lama's visit to Sri Lanka. In 2015, after a group of monks extended an invite, a Sri Lankan foreign ministry official admitted the government cannot grant a visa, saying Sri Lanka's relationship with China is more important. Even in 2015, Sri Lanka had already accumulated massive debts owed to China and was heavily dependent on it. And things took a stronger pro-China tilt as debts deepened and public tensions grew. Since Colombo joined the Belt and Road Initiative, Sri Lanka's debt problems have become more intense and paved the way for concrete Chinese inroads in South Asia. Today, China holds more than half of Sri Lanka's $46 billion external credit. In the latest blockade of the Dalai Lama's visit to Sri Lanka too, the message is clear: withdraw the invitation or the consequences could be disastrous. Fact is, in the Dalai Lama, China's insecurities become all the more glaring, and Sri Lanka has no option but to bend before the bully.
Well, news now from Nepal, which witnessed a wave of protests on Tuesday as thousands stepped out to demand the reinstatement of the monarchy and to convert the state into a Hindu kingdom. Supporters of the former king Gyanendra, who was removed from power in 2008, attempted to crash through police barricades in a bid to reach the offices of the Prime Minister and other key government departments. Now, the protest called by the pro-right-wing Rashtriya Prajatantra Party or the Nationalist People's Party saw people marching and raising slogans against the current provincial government in Kathmandu. Police used water cannons and tear gas on demonstrators to stop the march. Both sides suffered minor injuries in the face-off as police tried to stop protesters from entering the restricted area. Over 7,000 police personnel, including the Special Task Force of Nepal Police and the Armed Police Force, were deployed in and around the protest site. The march by the RPP comes 1 month after the party submitted a 40-point-long charter of demands to Nepal's Prime Minister. One of the key demands listed in this charter was to reinstate monarchy and declare Nepal as a Hindu nation. Out of the 275 members in Nepal's House of Representatives, the RPP has only 14 members. Protests in 2006 forced King Gyanendra to abandon his rule and cede power back to Parliament. 2 years later, Parliament voted to abolish the centuries-old monarchy. But his supporters believe that the country's major political parties have failed at governance. Well, news of a silver lining for what's largely been a dark cloud for hundreds of thousands of Rohingya refugees living in Bangladesh. A Japanese NGO says it will spend $2 million for providing skill training to Rohingya in Bhasan, Char, a remote island of Bangladesh, a move supported by the government.
Holding up hopes of new beginnings for scores of women. One of several skills training centers getting them on their feet out of years of abuse and hopelessness. Extend that to small-scale poultry farms set up for training and vocational purposes. And even fishing modules which are in the process of training menfolk off the shores of Bhasan Char Island in Bangladesh. The work initiated and coordinated by the Nippon Foundation is making a huge difference.
Even if they could return to Myanmar, if they have no skills, then they would end up living in poverty again. So having skill training in Bhasan Char is going to help them greatly. So in that sense, I think the way that they are doing in Bhasan Char Island is a great policy that was put in place.
The infrastructure and layout at Bhasan Char is a huge shift from the horrors of Cox's Bazar, where thousands of Rohingya refugees originally from Myanmar still live.
Nippon Foundation has told the Bangladesh government that we are ready to cover the cost so that the additional 40,000 people can move to Bhasan Char Island and do the skills training program there in a safe and secure environment.
The foundation is working to transfer one section of Rohingya out of Cox's Bazar to the remote Bhasan Char Islands. A team from WION had visited Bhasan Char for a first-hand feel of activities underway there. The UN had initially opposed Bangladesh's efforts to relocate refugees here, but it has won acceptance as the first groups have settled in. The UN and the US too have committed funds.
So I reached the freshwater lake, which is a lake that they have constructed here for the Rohingya refugees to be able to use their traditional skills like fishing. As they come from a coastal area in Myanmar originally, fishing is a skill set they've developed. The biggest fish I've seen them catch is only about this big.
I
had a tarpaulin in Cox's Bazar, but now I'm living in a concrete shelter in Bhasan Char. My children can play in the open here. The island is spacious and we are very happy here.
Significantly, the Bangladesh government too is playing a big part. The administration has built a 10-kilometer-long embankment to protect the island from flooding, besides schools, hospitals and mosques powered by solar energy, helping them to stand on their feet. For nearly 8 years, the word Rohingya had only conjured up images of misery and despair. Bhasan Char comes as a ray of much-needed hope.
And well, gone are the days of maps and compasses. Global Positioning System or GPS has now become synonymous with navigation. cab-hailing applications and much more. While GPS is an American technology, Russia, China and Europe have their own GPS equivalents, and India has also developed an indigenous GPS known as NavIC, which it says will be available on all mobile phones in India by 2025. WION Siddharth MP has the story.
Originally a military technology satellite-based global positioning system was first developed for the US military in the 1970s. From the 80s onwards, GPS has been available for civilian users worldwide. Soon, anyone with a GPS receiver or compatible device will be able to access GPS signals from satellites. GPS helps identify the exact location of the receiver on the Earth. America's ability to turn off GPS support or reduce GPS accuracy has prompted countries to have their own navigation system. During the 1999 India-Pakistan War, the United States refused to provide GPS support to India. That was when Indian Regional Navigation Satellite System took birth. Now known as NavIC, which is navigation with Indian constellation, it depends on a fleet of 7 satellites. It offers coverage within India and 1,500 kilometers beyond the Indian landmass. NavIC offers services for both civilian and military purposes. The need for NavIC to offer global coverage is in line with India's role in the light of its warships and aircraft undertaking operations far beyond Indian shores.
Currently, the NavIC with the 7 satellite constellation provides only that much range, 1,500 kilometers beyond the Indian boundary. But for us to operate, especially the strategic assets start to be operated beyond that, need a assured signal of that class, which requires expansion. So there are different ways of expanding it, which is currently under discussion.
India is evaluating expansion of NavIC.
No such large constellation can survive with one user alone. It has to percolate into various other capabilities, including maritime use, airline use, personal travel use, all those. So coupled with the strategic and civilian use, an expansion could be taken up because NavIC has an advantage today because it gives a better accuracy on Indian continent.
Over the years, other nations have developed their own alternatives to GPS. The Russian version is GLONASS. The European version is called Galileo. The Chinese have BeiDou. Each system boasts a fleet of over 24 satellites that offer global coverage.
And well, here's a look at all the festival celebrations in South Asia, from Navratri and Gudi Padwa in India to Nepal's horse racing festival. Take a look.
The Galo tribal community of India's northeastern Arunachal Pradesh state celebrated the Mopin, the agricultural festival that marks the onset of harvest season. Members of the tribe donned traditional white attire and danced to hymns for goddess Mopin Ane, who is believed to bring prosperity and good health to the community. Locals were seen smearing each other's faces with rice flour paste made from harvested paddy to mark the festival.
Moving to Nepal now, where the unique festival of horse racing was observed. Over 60 horses showcased dozens of moves and stunts in the army pavilion. Ghode refers to horses and Jatra refers to a type of festival. Organized annually by the Nepalese Army Cavalry, the Ghode Jatra celebration in Kathmandu is attended by the President, Vice President, Prime Minister and other dignitaries. The horse parade, also known as the Ashwa Yatra, is organized by the locals to welcome the new year as well. And now for some trivia. The story is that Ghode Jatra started as a celebration of the victory over a demon named Guru Mappa in ancient times. He used to terrorize people in the Kathmandu valley, cause misery, kidnap children and devour them.
In many parts of India, Hindu devotees flocked to temples to mark the first day of the Navratri, which falls in spring. Devotees stood in serpentine queues and chanted prayers at the hilly cave shrine of Vaishno Devi in northern Katra town. Celebrated this year from the 9th of April, it ends with Ram Navami on the 9th day, that is 17th of April.
Marking the beginning of the traditional New Year in Maharashtra and Goa, people celebrated Gudi Padwa. The festival signals the onset of the warmer days in spring. The locals in large numbers danced to the sounds of drums and took out Shobha Yatra on the occasion in different cities.
And well, with that, it's a wrap on Inside South Asia. I'm Bhairavi Singh signing off. Until next week.